Welcome back, writers. Today we're talking about words that sound alike or similar but mean different things. And the reason we're talking about sound-alike words in this series about crafting stronger sentences is because no matter how strong a sentence is in terms of structure, word placement, etc., if we use a word that doesn't mean what we think it means, it's no longer a strong sentence. It is a giant red flag to readers. Danger, Will Robinson. Will Robinson, anybody? No? Before your time? Okay, that's it. The point is, if we write a sentence like, after the protest, she was taken into custody for fomenting violence, we might as well be telling our reader we don't really care about this message, because if we did, we would have done our job and questioned every word. We would have realized that the correct word is fomenting, to incite, promote, or encourage, not fermenting, to undergo a chemical change. Using the wrong word can change the entire meaning of a sentence. As you've heard me say many times, as writers, we are responsible for everything on the page. And when we use the wrong word, we confuse the reader. We come across as lazy or sloppy, and more importantly, we lose our credibility as a reliable source of information. Because why would anybody trust us if we don't even care enough to figure out which word is the right word? And to drive that point home, I want to share an experience with you that I had many years ago when I was first starting out as a writer. And spoiler alert, I do not come off well in this story. I had interviewed a colleague in preparation for writing an article about her. She was a scientist, a researcher, an expert in her field, and I really wanted my article to do her justice. In the course of the interview, she used the word byproduct many times. Byproduct as in the process turned a useless byproduct into a valuable resource. So naturally, the word byproduct appeared in my article many times. Sadly, every time I used the word byproduct, I spelled it with an I instead of a Y, which isn't even a word. I sent the article to this esteemed scientist to review before it went to print, and she sent the article back with every instance of the word byproduct scratched out and corrected. I know, I was mortified. Here, I was supposed to be the writer, and the subject of my article had corrected my mistake multiple times. And if your reaction to that story was, "Oh no," that's the response I was going for, because I want you to feel that sense of ickiness and use it as a reminder to question every word. So how confident are you that you always make the right choice when it comes to these sound-alike words? I'm going to scroll through some examples just to give you an idea of the kinds of words I'm talking about. Test yourself, see how you do. Hit pause if you want a little more time to think about it. Here we go. She climbed to the very top of the Washington Monument. What a trooper! Which trooper is it? Trooper with two O's is a soldier or state police officer. Trooper with an OU is someone who persists through hardship without complaining. So trooper is the one we want. And that sentence would mean something entirely different if we used the other word. They discussed the blank significance of the ancient ruins. Historic or historical? Historic means momentous or important in history. The signing of the Declaration of Independence was historic. Historical means having to do with things that took place in the past. So the word we want here is historical. They discussed the historical significance of the ancient ruins. Before signing the contract, she sought counsel from her lawyer. Counsel with an EL means advice. Counsel with an IL is a group, committee, or governing body. So we want counsel. Before signing the contract, she sought counsel or advice from her lawyer. He avoided the flooded street because he was blank to risk. Averse means having a dislike or distaste for something. Adverse means unfavorable, negative, or harmful, so we want averse. He avoided the flooded street because he was averse to risk. He disliked risk. The editor asked the reporter to cite the source of her quote. Cite with an S is a place or location. Cite with a C means to mention, refer to, or call attention to, so we want cite. The editor asked the reporter to cite the source of her quote. So to be clear, I'm not saying we have to know the meaning of every word in the dictionary, just the ones we use in our sentences. And I think that that's a reasonable expectation. If we use a word in a sentence, we ought to know what it means. So we need to develop that sense of knowing when to suspect that a certain word may not mean what we think it means. Let's look at a few more. The artist was trying to blank a sense of nostalgia. Elicit means to evoke or trigger a response. Illicit means unlawful. So elicit is what we want here. The artist was trying to elicit a sense of nostalgia. She discovered at an early age that she had a flair for storytelling. Flare, A-R-E, is a blaze of light or signaling device. Flair, A-I-R, is a unique gift or talent. So flair is the right word for this sentence. She discovered at an early age that she had a flair for storytelling. At the age of 6, the young chess blank defeated the reigning champion. Protege is someone whose career is furthered by a more experienced person. Prodigy is an unusually talented young person. And progeny means child or offspring. So we want prodigy. At the age of 6, the young chess prodigy defeated the reigning champion. She followed a strict blank of morning exercises. Regimen, with no T, is a systematic plan or routine. Regiment is a military unit, so regimen is the one we want. She followed a strict regimen of morning exercises. So you get the idea. There are a lot of ornery words out there just waiting to trip us up. And there's a fine line between being sure and being right. I was sure byproduct was word, but I wasn't right. And if even one of those sound-alike words gets by us, we run the risk of losing all credibility with our reader. We can never, ever underestimate the intelligence of our reader. And that's my tip for today. Stick around if you want to see a few more examples of sound-alike words, and I'll see you next time.